Saturday night.
All right, it is 4:30, so I'll go ahead and call to order special board meeting for the David City Public School Board of Education. If everybody would please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands for one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There is an open meeting statement on the south wall of the boardroom. 4 or 5 board members are in attendance this evening. 5 out of 6, sorry. Sorry, my heart's still beating from crunching into the building. Yeah, once sometime. So yes, 5 out of 6 board members are in attendance. We do have public forum, so I am going to just find my maybe. Reader the fact this is heavy head here. Yep, it's right here. All right, so we do have public forum, so I'm going to read our statement prior to public comment. The board welcomes public input on policies and issues affecting our school district. Per state statute, speakers must sign in at the beginning of the meeting, completing the public comment form and giving it to the president of the board. Speakers will speak in the order the forms were received. Policy 8346 outlines speakers' ability to address the board consistent with free speech rights. However, offensive language and defamatory remarks will not be tolerated. Further, concerns about individual staff members that cannot be resolved at the level closest to the situation should be directed to the superintendent. This board will not permit charges or complaints against a school employee without having followed the school's complaint procedure. In an effort to maintain the ability of the board to sit as an appellate body in student-employee appeals, comments regarding individual student or personnel issues cannot be presented at this time. Public forum is an opportunity for the public to share their thoughts on matters relating to the school district. Therefore, the board will not respond to questions or comments during this time. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, with a total of 15 minutes available at each meeting. And that's what you will keeper for this. And Marcus will be the timekeeper. We have one public comment, and that would be Ms. Charlotte Tibby. Would you guys need to stand? Okay. You mind, so. Well, 1 second. Let him take so to the second.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm Charlotte Tebby from David City. I want to thank you for taking time to listen today. I find the situation we're in today very sad and very unfortunate. In researching what the school board needs to do in an instance where a board member is resigning and not finishing their term, I wasn't able to find policy in the David City school board policies, but that's not to say it isn't there. I just didn't find it. What I did find on the internet stated in Nebraska, when a David City school board position becomes available in a non-election year, the remaining board members must appoint a qualified registered voter to fill the vacancy for the remainder of the expired term. The board must also provide a written notice of the vacancy to the election commissioner or county clerk and publish notice of the vacancy in the local newspaper. It then goes on and it talks about what's done if a consensus isn't made by the board. In your search for a new board member, it would be reasonable to assume that you'll look at individuals that have expressed an interest in the school and or the school board. And if that's the case, then it would also be reasonable that you would consider that people that most recently ran for school board. And if that is one of the paths that you choose to take and is taken for a replacement, then it would again be a reasonable assumption that you would want to consider how the people voted in that election. The most recent election in Butler County was November 5th, 2024. The results of those persons running that were not elected were Clay Cossack, 806 votes, David McPhillips, 1,176 votes, which is a difference of 370 votes in favor of David McPhillips. The person elected to the board with the closest number of votes to them was Marcus Tindall. He had 1,451 votes, which means that David McPhillips had 275 votes less than someone that was elected, while Clay Cossack had 645 votes less than the person elected. These are important things to consider if that is part of the route that you're planning to take in your search for a new board member. As you know, being on the school board can be difficult. It's also rewarding. It's a place of honor, but it's also a huge responsibility, and I know you don't take that lightly. I personally feel it's important to seek someone that cares about the education, safety, and well-being of children and families in and around David City, as well as our community. They should be someone with founding morals that's willing to share new ideas, is able to communicate respectfully with others even when they don't agree, that they would be willing to go against the tide when it is good, and that they would be someone who seeks the Lord, not just in their personal life, but in every aspect of their life, including places that they are serving, such as their job, school board, and everything else. I thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much. We'll go on to discussion action items. The topic of the special meeting is to discuss, consider, take action to accept the resignation from Board of Education, Board Member Aaron Baruka, and adopt a procedure for the appointment of a new member to the Board of Education to fill the vacancy therein created by the resignation of Aaron Baruka. So his resignation letter was submitted Tuesday evening, February 10th, 2026, to the members of Davis City Public School Board, District 56. Please accept this letter as my formal resignation from my position as member of the Davis City Public School Board, effective February 10th, 2026. So that was his resignation. So I'll first entertain a motion to approve the resignation by Aaron Baruka.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marcus, seconded by Casey. Justin?
Yes.
Dottie?
Yes. Yes.
I vote yes. Casey?
Yes.
Okay, so the resignation has been accepted, and so later. Yes, just as Charlotte mentioned during public comment, our policy for appointing board members, there's kind of two different, it's all of one policy, but we've done it a couple of different ways in this district. Our policy states, a vacancy on the board shall be filled by appointment of an eligible citizen by action of the remaining members of the board for the remainder of the unexpired term. That's really the, it's allows a little flexibility on how we might appoint a member to a vacancy. We have in my tenure as a board member, we have appointed 2 members onto the board. One did go through an application process, which we have kind of advertised a little bit for. We mentioned it at our meeting Wednesday night that was the avenue that we were going to take once again. The other time that we appointed somebody, it was not that long after an election, and just some of the dynamics within and the projects that we were working on, we appointed somebody that was familiar with how we had gotten to the situation that we were in, so that we weren't having to educate someone brand new to the board and everything that was going on. So I think that's why we kind of went back to the application process that we have used in the past. Would that be fair to say? Is that I want to be putting words into any of your guys' mouth, but those are the 2 different ways that we've used. So we do have an application to be filled out. I have one here with us. I have 2 right here with me. So if anybody who is here in the public wants to take one today, I do have 2 of them available. And we need more. I know that Angie would be able to get somebody, more if we need to. The other piece of that we are required to do by law is that we are to submit a notice of vacancy to the election commissioner, and that has been done. And then we will verify with her I will verify with her again on Monday. I know that she's already been given written notification of that. So once we fill that position, we will then again let her know who has filled that position. They will be considered an incumbent in the next election cycle because they will have served prior to the election. So that was a conversation that I had, and our election commissioner was good enough to call down to the state and verify and make sure that it was all correct, that when they fill out the form, they do need to check the incumbent box, even though there's no distinction on the ballot itself. You just vote, you don't know who's the incumbent and who's not, but that is something you have to check on the form. But they will need, if you intend to, and there's no requirement that the person that we would select to be the appointee, if they accepted that appointment, there is no requirement that they run for the next election. That is just something that they can do. If they choose to do that, they do have to file by March 2nd. And that is kind of I think the incumbent date is February 17th, but there is kind of an exclusion there if someone is appointed in that area, because March 2nd is anybody who wants to run who is not an incumbent. So they will allow an appointee to go ahead and file if they would like to. So that would be something that they would need to do on their own. It is not an automatic filing just to be appointed. Okay, I just want to make that very clear. So I think with that, like I said, I have a couple of applications. We don't necessarily need to vote on a process, but I think that it would be nice if we just like formally said, this is the process that we are using. So I would entertain a motion to accept the application process as our formal way of appointing our new board member.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Donnie, seconded by Justin Marcus.
Yes.
I vote yes. Casey?
Yes.
Donnie?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Okay, so then we will then, after we collect the all of the applications, those are due by Tuesday, February 24th at noon to the district office. And then the board will then have a special meeting on Wednesday, the 25th, to review those applications and then choose the appointee. Okay? Do you have everything? Did I miss anything? Okay. All right. With that, then that concludes our special meeting, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, so moved. Second.
All right. Moved by Donnie, seconded by Marcus to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
442. 442.
Make sure.
I didn't really. No, I don't think so. I did not. Do an exit back on. Yes.